Hello everyone, this is Timothy Mark with Alexandria.
How's everybody doing today?
And we are Tickle Trunk of Horrors. The website is up now, TickleTrunkOfHorrors.com. This podcast plays on many different platforms, Spreaker.com, YouTube, Tumblr, and iTunes. So, yeah, if you're one of the people that's listening to it on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're people that listening to it or downloading it from Spreaker, which that's the best way to do it actually, is go to Spreaker and download the show, and then you can listen to it whenever you want without having to be online. You can just download the show.
Yeah, so you can watch it once, twice, or you can have a bunch of friends over.
Listen to it.
And you can have a listening party, yeah.
Yep. So, we got a special guest for you today. Belinda Balaski.
Balaski, yes.
And so, she's been in the Howling movie, Part 1, the Howling Part 1. She was in Gremlins 1 and 2. And she was... she's been in Piranha.
She's been in a lot of films and a lot of TV shows and a lot of, when I was doing research like I do for all of our guests that we have on, very, very exciting, the repertoire of work and, TV. I mean, we'll go into that later, but some of the TV shows are Beretta, SWAT, Starsky and Hutch, Charlie's Angels, she was in an episode, The A-Team, Simon and Simon, Falcon Crest, Father Dowling Mysteries, Baywatch, and the Second Civil War. So really, I mean, the TV shows, I mean, that's not even all of the TV shows that she's been in, but very, very exciting to have Belinda Balaski.
Well, she was in one called Bobby Joe and the Cowboys, right?
Yes, that was the Cowboys, that was in 1974.
Yeah, so she's definitely been an actress for quite some time now, and like you said, she's got an impressive resume, list of credits there. So.
Definitely, and she was also in Cannonball as well. And for I don't know if you've seen this, Timothy, but Amazon Women on the Moon. Have you heard of that? That's in 1987.
No, I've never heard of it or seen that one, but I've seen Howling 1, I've seen Piranha, I've seen Gremlins. Yeah, so definitely she's been in quite a few movies that I have seen, but I haven't seen.
What about Food of the Gods? Have you been in Food? I didn't even know she was a co-star in Food of the Gods. She was Rita in Food of the Gods, and then in, like you mentioned, Bobby Joe and the Outlaws, she was Essie Beaumont in that particular one as well.
Okay, before we give her a call, because we're actually going to give her a call, we're going to let you listen to a theme song from one of the films that she was in.
I wonder if you guys can guess what film this is in.
Yeah, so here you go. So, that theme song is actually from the Gremlins.
That was a pretty interesting show as well. I've seen Gremlins and Gremlins, all the Gremlins series as well. So I thought that was a pretty cool show. At one point, too, I even had a Gremlins doll. And I'm sure a lot of you that collect memorabilia from various horror films, they had the little... fluffy little, I don't even think it's fluffy, but there was a little gremlin dolls out there, and I had one of those as well. So that was a real cool cool film. And I was excited as well. Like I said, we've been working on our website, Tickle Trunk of Horrors, getting it all primed and ready to go. So very, very excited. And more than that, I'm very, very excited at the caliber of guests that we're going to be having today, the guests that we have had and the guests that are yet to come. So we hope in Tickle Trunk of Horrors to bring you guests from various genres or venues in horror and the paranormal field. So you know, as what we offer on our website is we have various products. We'll be discussing films, books. We have spiritual and paranormal tools that you may need, and if you go to tickletrunk.com, you'll see the website. We'll be posting our podcasts on there as well. So it's a one-stop place for all of our fans to, you know, get a, you know, sort of a lowdown on everything that we have to offer in the paranormal and horror world for all of our fans that have been asking for that. So more exciting things yet to come, folks, so hang on tight. We've only really just begun.
Yep, we just begun, and that statement is so true, because the website's missing products from there that we got to get updated and get all the products on there, but at least the website's up, so you can go in there and listen to the podcast.
And I really think it looks really snazzy, very sharp, very, very pleased with how it's coming along. And, you know, we are doing podcasts as well with extremely exciting guests. So we will be adding the books and some of the other products that we offer our fans. So just hang on, hang tight. And, you know, as well, we'd like to have feedback on our podcast. Put comments, like again, share, and we'd like to hear the feedback on what you think of the guests, or if you have even guest ideas for us. So drop us a line. We're always open to questions to all of our fans as well. So very, very interesting about that too as well.
Yes. So talking about upcoming guests that we're going to have on the show on Tuesday of next week, which I don't know what the date Tuesday will be. I think it's the 1st. Maybe it's the 1st. I don't know. May 1st. But let me look it up real quick for you, what the date Tuesday is. Tuesday's actually, yeah, May 1st. So we're going to have Ryan Daughtery from the UK, who's going to be our guest, and he's got really good music. If you go to ryandaughtery/music.com, you can listen to some of his songs on there. He's got a song called The Reaper, and I really like that song, but I like all the songs on there actually. So
it's going to be pretty exciting to have a musical artist from the UK. Tomorrow, which is Thursday, we will be having a paranormal team from the UK, Hastings, UK, Residential Haunting as well on tomorrow's show.
Yeah,
so
that's
really
right.
Looking forward to that. So we're trying to bring guests from all around the world and from different venues as well. So, you know, we want to keep it really horrible, very interesting, and, you know, kind of get you on the edge of your seat. And so...
Well, who's tomorrow's guest is actually Ian Vero from Residential Haunting. So, yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to get a perspective on different techniques that other paranormal teams use. We had Detroit on Sunday, so we're with Stephanie on that. So we get to have different teams from around the world. So really, really looking forward to that. And like you're probably sick of me hearing, always good to work together and to share knowledge with everybody out there, because we're all seeking the same answers, folks. So very, very exciting. And I hope the weather wherever you are is great. Today is sunny and quite mild where we are. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying your day. And again, we're so pleased to have Belinda Balaski joining us. She's an American actress, and she's really best known for her large supporting role as Terry Fisher in Joe Dante's The Howling. Again, we have the date of 1981. It seems like all the real cult classic horror movies, 1981 seems to be a very, very important date in regards to cult horror films. And The Evil Dead again, and American Werewolf in London, so many others were in 1981.
Yes, so she had the opportunity to be in the Howling, Piranha, which is even, believe it or not, Piranha is a bigger cult classic movie than the Howling, and then, of course, Gremlins.
And for all of you who may be living under a rock or not living under a rock and you have no clue what the Howling is about, so before we have our guest join us, we're sort of going to go into a little bit of the Howling. And again, it's an American horror film directed by Joe Dante, 1981, and it was based on the novel of the same name by Gary Brandner. And really the film follows a TV newswoman that is sent to a remote mountain resort after a fatal incident with a serial killer. And she is totally unaware that the inhabiting residents are werewolves in this remote mountain resort. And what better place to have inhabitants, werewolves, in this totally remote area in the mountain. And again, it had a release date of April 10th, 1981. The budget for the film was $1.5 million, and on the box office, it brought in $17.9 million. So that's just a little bit of a trivia in regards to the Howling. The budget was $1.5 million, and the box office was $17.9 million.
Okay, I know it's a little bit early, but we're gonna 5 minutes earlier than we're supposed to call her, but we're gonna go ahead and give her a call and see if she's ready. Belinda Balaski. Okay. Let's try her right now. Let's give her a call. All right. So here we go.
Hello.
Hey, is this Belinda Balaski?
It is. How are you?
I'm okay. This is Timothy Mark with Alexandria. We're Tickle Trunk of Horrors, and we have you on the show right now.
Hi.
Great to have you.
Where in Texas are you?
We're actually in Bryan, Texas, right outside of Austin.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so we just did an intro for one of the films we were talking about. You were in. You played Terry Fisher.
You couldn't possibly mean the Howling.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us about your experience on the Howling and how did everything go during the shoot?
Well, Joe's so much fun to work with, and I had done Piranha with him before, and so we kind of knew how to work with each other, which was fairly loosely, gave each other a lot of room to improv and create, which is always fun in his movies because he trusts his actors, and it's really it makes it a group effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you just mentioned that you got to be in the film Piranha. How was that shooting Piranha? What time of the year did y'all shoot Piranha?
Well, thank heavens in the summer, and we were in San Marcos, Texas, right outside of Austin there.
Wow.
And,
you know what? That's crazy. So y'all shot Piranha in San Marcos?
Wow.
What's the name of the river? I forget.
We've been there. Me and Alexandria used to hang out there at that river, and I had no idea.
It was very cool. It was really cool. No, I would do that if I lived there. Yeah, no. It was definitely the place to be because, there was, other than that, the Pizza Hut or something. That was about it.
Yeah.
And we had to drive into Austin if we wanted, any, to see people or anything like that, or eat.
Wow. I had no idea.
That is so surreal.
It was a long time ago, too. Think back 30 years. You're probably, how old, 23 or something?
No.
That's too kind.
No, I was, I was probably, what year did I come out? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We're talking about when Piranha came out.
It was back in the day, as it were.
Yeah, I can't.
And it was, people were nice and things like that, kind of shocking things like that. And it was really fun to shoot there. And the thing is that I didn't know Joe then when I did Piranha. I had gone to an audition with Susie Arnold, and I had met Susie on a show that her dad was directing called Black Eye with Fred Williamson. It was to be a pilot for Fred, and anyway, Susie was in it, and I was in it. We became friends, and then eventually she went into casting, and she said, "I want you to come in and meet Joe Dante." And I'm like, "Who?" And she said, "No, you'll really like him." So I went to this interview, and as I'm walking from the door to the desk where they're all sitting, Joe says to me, "We worked in a film together before." And that room just got so long. I mean, I thought, oh my God, what film? I couldn't, for the life of me, think of what on earth he was talking about. And then I realized he was that greasy little guy in Cannonball. and he was really funny. And I thought, oh my God, you play that mechanic. And so from then on, we've been fans of each other's, I guess,
Hey, so that's really y'all. That's good. Y'all got to work on multiple films. Let me ask you this question. You said when you were shooting Piranha in 1978, you did it in San Marcos, and you said the only thing there was a Pizza Hut.
There was a what?
You said there was a Pizza Hut there in San Marcos when you were shooting Piranha?
Oh, there was some kind of pizza place. Now, it might not have been Pizza Hut. It might have been.
No, they got a Pizza Hut there. They have a Pizza Hut there. But the thing.
Oh, is it Pizza Hut? All right. Well, it's just like we may have passed it so many times that sort of encrypted in my brain. But yeah, we would drive to Austin to eat.
Oh wow, that's quite a ways.
There really wasn't much going on in San Marcos,
Right.
Oh, they got a lot of places in San Marcos now. They even got a couple of In-N-Out burgers.
Well, wow.
Yeah.
So, being a meatless character here. But anyway, it was fun because when I did do the Howling, and I did that scene with John Sayles, he said to me that day that we were shooting, he said, "I want you to know I wrote this for you." I said, "What?" I mean, I'd never met him before, so I'm like, "What?" And he said, "Well, I just like what you do with that sea so much in Piranha that I created that character and just made her bigger in the Howling because she's not in the book."
Wow.
Yeah,
it's a matter of his invention, and so he just took that Betsy character and expanded her into Terry Fisher, which is really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Let me ask you this.
Yeah, I was impressed too.
How much fun did you have working on the Gremlins?
Was working on Gremlins? My memory of Gremlins is like about 30 guys on their hands and knees blowing through straws, I mean, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great film, actually.
Yeah, because Gremlins.
I know. People were like, "Were you scared?" And I'm like, there were a bunch of guys on their knees blowing through straws.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a novel concept and one you have to actually experience before you might find the humor in it. But it was hysterical. It was so much fun to make, and of course, it was like, I don't know what film with Joe, and the night before I was supposed to shoot, I hadn't gotten the script, and I called Joe up. I said, "Joe, God, it's 8 o'clock at night. I still haven't gotten the script." He said, "A what?" I said, "A script." And he said, "Well, that's right, me neither." I said, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And he said, just come ad-lib. I said, with Polly Holiday? That's like saying, come ad-lib with Carol Burnett or something. Oh, my God. Right? And he said, oh, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So between that moment and the next morning when I arrived on set with about 700 pages that I typed up, I guess I panicked. He read through a couple of their scenes and he said, this is fine, just take it to Polly. She'll come up with her line. And of course she slam dunked me with that. Well, now you'll know what to ask Santa for Christmas, won't you?
Wow. Yeah, that was
came right out of her mouth. I worked all night, you know.
That was a pretty awesome scene right there.
It was pretty fun, yeah. And Albert, I have worked with Eddie Albert in my very first commercial I ever did in LA. Way back, it was a Chevy commercial, and so he was like one of the first people I'd ever worked with, and there he was and Gremlins again, and it was like, oh wow, you know, I mean, it wasn't kind of used to how small the circle really is, and it was just fun, you know. It was a different time. It's not like now.
Yeah, it seems like, because I know the Gremlins came out in 1984, and then you did Gremlins 2 in 1990. Did you notice that, like, a difference between the 1984 Gremlins and then the 1990 Gremlins 2? Was there a difference in filming during those periods?
Well, yeah, because Joe was spoofing on himself, you know. At least in Piranha we were spoofing on Jaws, but now he's spoofing on himself, you know. And it's like, okay, how far are we going to take this, you know? But it was fun because it was again playing with Paul Bartel, you know, and it was just, you know, it's like you get to know people and after a while they become your friends, and it's just really fun to play with them, you know. You trust them, and you know they know that they're going to come up with good stuff, and you know, I mean, I really was lucky in a time when it felt like I wasn't working at all, you know. It felt like months between auditions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? But the truth is, I mean, I was so fortunate. I mean, I could only be on my hands and knees, you know. And, you know, I mean, I did a lot of television, I did a lot of movies the week, and nobody cares. They only care about these movies. So it's a good thing I did these.
Well, no, I got another question for you for a different film. And I wanted it's a film that I've seen the Gremlins, I've seen Piranha, I've seen Howling, but I haven't seen the Amazon Women on the Moon. Can you?
Oh, I'm pretty funny in that now. They finally let me do comedy, you know. It was really fun to do. It just was fun to do. There's no way to explain it. You have to see it. And it's all kinds of little vignettes, and everybody's hysterical in it, you know.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that one out. And then there's another one that you did that I haven't seen called Food for the Gods.
That's a Bird-Eye Gordon film. And, you know, he does everything himself. He writes it, directs it, produces it, you know, makes the costumes, everything. And, you know, we're up there in Canada, and he wanted this gray, rainy look. And for about the first 3 days, that's what we had, gray, rainy, fog, right? And the fourth day, it snowed, okay? So suddenly everything went white. And he said, well, that's okay. We'll go in and do our interiors. We did that for about 8 days while it continued to snow and snow and snow on this island, you know, off the west coast of Canada. I mean, snow doesn't stick there, but it was. And finally, after about 2 weeks, you know, waiting and our budget just climbing and doubling and quadrupling, Bert got out there with one of those torches and started torching the snow.
Oh my God.
There are images in my brain that will never go away.
That's what it sounds like. Wow.
Out of all the films that you've done, what was your would be the favorite of yours?
Well, listen, I've done 12 films for Joe. I love working with Joe. It's really always fun. Okay, whether it's big, little part, or whatever it is, it's fun.
Right.
And then there's other things like television, and I did a thing called Are You My Mother that I love, and I did something with Michael York, and I did something called Proud Men with Charlton Heston and Peter Strauss that, I was just so lucky to get, so there are things that I did, but whoever saw them, I don't know,
You did the A-Team.
Yes, I did. I did the A-Team. See? That's a perfect answer. There you are.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. T, honest to God, okay, listen, it was summer, and we were supposed to be these farmers, and we're, supposed to be picking cotton. No, cabbage. Only they look like little Brussels sprouts or something. Anyway, we're out. We're out in these fields, right? And I look over, and they call lunch, right? So everybody's lining up to get their lunch to go to their trailer to get out of that friggin' sun because it's next 7,000 degrees. And I look over, and there's Mr. T lifting friggin' weights, okay, in the sun. I
Wow.
said, this isn't real. Pinch me. Something's wrong.
And then you did to answer your earlier question, I was 4 years old when Piranha came out. But
your mother never should have let you go.
but going back to your TV days, you did Hunter, you did Simon and Simon, and
yeah, those are so much fun. Those guys were fun. Doing episodics, well, I guess, do they even have them now? I don't even know. Not like that. I guess there's CSI in every city, but I don't know. There's really episodics like we did, and
right.
And they were just so much fun. They really were. You got to play every character, dangle from every mountain, climb every cliff, and have 30 of the handsomest guys hanging on to you. It was definitely classy back then.
Go ahead. You have a
I
question?
noticed, too, that in 1986 you did an ABC after-school special, and then in 1987 you did a CBS school break special. How did you like working on those after-school specials?
They were the best. I don't know, which one was the first one you said? Was it Are You My Mother by any chance, or The Runaways?
No, the 1986 ABC was Are You My Mother?
Are You My Mother? Well, that, they wanted Barbara Hershey for, or they wanted Blythe Downer for. And I wanted this part so bad that I went out on the streets and did my monologue, on the streets of Hollywood, wearing 3 pairs of, skirts and pants and 2 different shoes and this whole outfit that I had put together myself. And then I said, if I can do it here, I can go audition. So I went and I auditioned, and I sort of was just a little bit kind of crazy person, and I sort of gave everybody who walked on the lot past me this evil eye, not realizing that one of those people were the producers.
Oh, God.
And she saw me, she went into the office, she said, oh my God, Barbara Remsen, come here, look at this girl out here, I love her. And I didn't know any of that happened. Okay, so when I went in to do my monologue for them, I had already kind of won her over,
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the guard wouldn't even let me on the lot because of what I was wearing. He kept saying, ma'am, I'm going to have to call security. And I'm like, no, I have an interview, really. But when it came to actually shooting it, the wardrobe department called and said, look, whatever you wore, that's what you're going to wear, okay? Everybody just loves what you wore. I said, okay, great, I'm good with that.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was, I was allowed a lot of creative freedom there, and that was Michael York played my husband in it, and Michael Franks had written this song, and Michael York was the producer of this record company, and do you remember Pop the Toes, that song?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Michael Franks, and he wrote this great song about homelessness, and it was like sort of at the peak of, you know, the crux of the matter, and so it was timely, and it was interesting, and I had become this homeless person, and my daughter had thought I had died at birth, and then she finds me by this birthmark in a photograph, and blah, blah, and it's, you know, it doesn't get all tied out in pink ribbons, but it's a really heavy kind of, one of my favorite parts, you know?
Right.
To do.
Let me ask you this question. I know you told us how the Gremlins how that was created with the men being on their knees and stuff. But if we could go back to Piranha, how did that work with the special effects with the fish?
God bless Rob team. You know, I mean, really, these guys are great. I can't help it. I am so fortunate to have worked with this little genius who at the time was, I say 16, Joe says 17, so we'll forever be at war about it. But I remember Rob Team sitting across from the pool looking like the thinker with his head in his hand, you know, trying to figure out what the hell he was going to do for this scene. And as it turned out, they took the gaffer's tape and put it directly across my chest and sewed the piranha to me with fishing wire, which was all fine until I got out of the water and they went to take the tape off, okay? anyway, the problem that, because all these fish, once we got in the water, started like buoyancy, you know, pushing away from me and hitting me and coming back, and they looked very real. And the only problem was they shot it too wide, and it really needed to be closer up to be more effective. And so at the dailies, I remember my first impression of Roger Corman, he stood up right after the scene, and he's really tall. He stood up like really high, and he goes, shoot it tighter and more blood. And he turned the fuck out. And I thought, oh my God, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Because I know when you mentioned Roger Corman, in Roger Corman's Cannonball that was directed by Paul Bartel, you actually played a navigator to Robert Carradine in a cross-country car race. That must have been pretty exciting.
So much fun, yeah.
Because Cannonball was
and David's in it too. You know, Carradine's in it, and of course John Carradine's in the Howling. So the only Carradine I didn't work with, of course, was Keith. Oh
right.
God. I'll get over it. You'll see.
I had a question for you in regards to the Howling and, you know, the special effects and makeup. And I know at the beginning, Rick Baker was originally doing the special effects for the film The Howling, but he did leave. I did read that he left to go do American Werewolf in London. Did that have an impact on the film?
He and John were originally going to do American Werewolf in London, but they couldn't get their money and couldn't get their money and couldn't get their money, and finally said, Joe said, hey, why don't you come do mine in the meantime? And he said, oh, okay. And so he turned around to do it, and boom, they got the money. So,
wow.
Boom, he was gone. But this was a blessing in disguise because, you know, because again, here came Rob Bottin, the 16-year-old, or now I think he was 17 or 18-year-old genius from some garage in Arcadia, you know, or something like that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And I mean, even though he didn't make the wolf until 3 months after we wrapped the film, Truth, he made the most amazing werewolf. I mean, he's just a genius, this man, you know?
So how to kind of put it in perspective for our listeners, you said that he didn't actually make the werewolf till 3 months after the film wrapped. Is it hard for you to get into character?
So here we are on this set, and Joe's like, okay, we're going to do the scene with the werewolf. We're like, oh, where's the werewolf? Well, he's not finished yet. What? How are we going to do the scene with the werewolf? Well, we're going to use our imaginations, aren't we? I guess we are, Joe. And so, you know, basically everything you see, all my close-ups were done first.
Right.
And then 3 months later, any two-shot of me and the werewolf was shot 3 months later, and you can tell because my hair is about 2 inches longer.
Right.
And if you put it in slow motion, my hair goes.
Wow. Was that hard, like for you in particular, to kind of imagine that the werewolf was there? Because I know some actors and actresses may have a hard time.
I don't go through all that. I'm instantly there.
Wow.
I'm like the perfect audience. I'm like the perfect, I cry every time in Bambi,
Right.
on cue. I'm like GP to the max.
Right.
And so you put me in any situation, I'll believe it. You just put me there I am.
Out of all the television shows and movies that you've done, who's your favorite director that you've worked with?
Well, I have to say Joe Dante. I mean, I do. Even though I do have another favorite, I had done a couple of 3, I think, films with Dick Heffron, Richard T. Heffron. And I love him because he trusted me so much, and he allowed me to ad-lib, which television is unheard of. You have to, stick to the ands and the buts and the T's,
Right.
And he gave me such license as an actor to be my. If in fact, by the third movie we did, which was Death Scream, I got there early in the morning, and he said, "Okay, what you got up your sleeve?" I said, well, I'm not going to just get out of the car and die, which is basically what was supposed to happen. He said, you're not? I said, would you? He said, no. I said, there's going to be a fight. He said, I love it. I'm going to shoot it. And, I mean, it was an entire film was made out of that paragraph that she gets out of the car and dies.
Right.
But that's because it was working with a director who trusted me and knew me and like that, and that's, I think, where the great fortune is, and that's where I think it's really hard to find now.
Yeah, because you don't have that. I don't think you're, and I may stand corrected, you can jump in and correct me, but I think now it's harder to have more leeway and more creative freedom with a director than it was maybe back then. I mean, I think you were privileged.
I think so. I think they're all scared to death, and they don't know what they're doing, and they don't dare.
Right.
What about when it comes to television shows? Like, what was your most memorable and, I guess, fun moment on a TV show?
Oh God, I got to pull a 5-horse carriage with Irene Tedrow and How the West Was Won way back at the very beginning of my career. And my dad was a jockey, so I have been on my whole life, but I never pulled a team.
Wow.
And I'm little, and they're like, can you do it? I'm like, I can do it. And they're like, are you sure? Because once we let go, I said, had no idea if I had it or not, but I did, and it was really fun. I mean, you get to do things like that, so far as the jobs I mentioned, Are You My Mother and Death Scream and Proud Men are movies of the week I love doing, and feel so fortunate about, and all it was all fun. I mean, auditioning for Aaron Spelling was fun.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It was like a time when, Stephen J. Cannell, all these people, you were going every week and you auditioned for like 3 or 4 different shows, and it was, that's why I can't watch television now. I have to watch it on mute. Because I hear 2 lines and I'm like, oh, I remember that audition stuff back. It's like, boom,
So yeah,
there's so many.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. As a child, did you ever celebrate Halloween?
I was not at all about Halloween. I had heard this voice, being the good little Catholic that I am. I was walking from my bedroom to my parents' room down the hall, and I heard this voice, and I assumed it was God, because they were all going to be. And he said, your life is going to be about communication. You're going to be an actor. I said, okay.
Wow.
Now, that sounds insane, but honestly, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
That's what happened. And so at every corner of my life, I went, well, I'm going to be an actor, so I'll make that choice.
That's awesome.
It always, yeah, it kind of was. I mean, because they sort of had this map, and and still, I'm a photographer, so communication in a different form too, and I'm a writer, and so there's still that communication in different forms. It's not just as an actor, but that definitely was what I devoted most of my life to. And then I kind of got tired of being other people.
Right. If I could ask you a question, do you find making a horror film harder, or is making like a drama film harder? Or it seems like
I can't think of it like that. I can't think, I'm going to do a horror film now, or I'm going to do a comedy. In fact, when I won my award for doing Bus Stop,
yes,
between the second act and the third act, I was backstage sobbing my eyes out. And I remember C.J. Hinks coming up to me. This was a stage play. And I remember coming up to me saying, oh my God, what's the matter? I said, they're laughing. And she said, well, of course they're laughing. It's a comedy. I looked at her horrified. I said, I don't do comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so sincere that I was funny. And I ended up winning the LA Drama Critics Circle Award for that, I guess, because I didn't even know it was a comedy. I don't think in terms of that. I think in terms of always character, where that character is coming from, and the rest falls in.
That's a true professional, is that a true professional is able to just adapt to the character and become the character, or just become the best version of the character as possible.
And transcend the character, yeah.
Right.
A little transcension always helps.
now you said that you're meatless. Does that mean you're vegetarian or vegan?
Well, I eat fish and chicken, and if my cousin were here making like a stew, I might have a bite.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a Texan. My mom's, they're all from Texas, right? So.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting.
I tend to not eat meat for the most part. I just never really liked it a lot, and so I don't eat it.
Wow. And I noticed, too, that in 1997 you did the Second Civil War. I'm not familiar with that. Could you kind of let our listeners know a bit of what the Second Civil War is about?
Oh, my God, that's so funny because Ted, what's his last name? Ted something or another, in that played my husband. And in that thing I told you about with Irene Tedrow, he played my father.
Oh, wow.
That's a difference of about maybe 10 years. The Second Civil War was something with, Joe was very political in his own weird way, so I don't think that I can explain Joe's idea of comedy / politics, but that is kind of what it is. It's a second Civil War that takes place, and I think it was too much for HBO. I think it was HBO or something, but I think it was too political, and so I don't think anyone really ever heard of it. But in fact, I don't even know that I ever saw the whole thing, only my little part.
Because I know that was directed again by Joe.
People think, the actors, they all know each other. They have lunch and hang out in Beverly Hills, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you really only get to know the person you're in the scene with. Sometimes you don't meet any of the other actors,
Because I know in the Second Civil War there was Beau Bridges, there was Phil Hartman, James Earl Jones, Dennis Leary, Joanna Cassidy, James Coburn.
A cast of millions. Everybody was in it. And Beauty and the Beast, what's his name?
Ron
that
Perlman.
I love so much.
Yeah, Ron.
Ron was in it. Yeah, Ron was in it, and so was Roger. Roger was in it. The day I worked on this, both Roger and Ron were there.
Yeah, because I've only seen a bit of it, because I know it's a film that's really a satire about sort of anti-immigration sentiment in the United States, and then we have the cast playing reporters, U.S. president, and a chief political advisor. You were a graphic designer?
I think I was like a graphic designer, just busy woman type, you know.
Right.
Nothing specific. Joe, you know, he always wanted to have like 8 or 10 people that he put in every movie.
Right.
And somehow Dick and I got elected, and Bobby, you know, Robert Picardo, and you know, some of us got lucky to be in a bunch of his films, playing whatever. Because I don't care if I'm the star. Some people care about that. I don't. I just like working.
Well, that's good. If you could like do it all again, like starting in today's time and become an actor in today's time, do you think it would be easier or harder, or you'd be able to do it nevertheless?
I think it would be impossible, and I don't even think I would want to. Wow. I think I'd go directly to New York and do theater instead.
Yeah, because you know, me, when I was going through all your list of films and all the TV programs that you've done, I mean, your resume or your work resume is quite substantial, and you were actually doing film and TV really in the kind of the golden age of TV and film, where, you know, there were stories that were being told and people were actually listening, and
really good writers, and you know, people like Dan Curtis, you know, and the really intense people directing, you know, Winds of War and new, you know, movies of the week that were just outrageous, you know, just outrageous.
But that was I think that was a pinnacle time where, like I said, people really had a passion for what they did, and that's what I get from you, is that you have a passion for becoming a character and giving a little bit of yourself to each character, and I think that's a gift, and I think you have a very wonderful gift that you've shared with the world.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, you know, the little secret is Joe just finished doing another film. It's about 4 or 5 different directors, and Nick Garris is one of the producers of it. And I have this little wee part in it. And it should be very, very interesting whether people recognize me or not, because it's been just so long, and I'm playing this complete character. So, you know, with this draggy voice and this whole, you know, I fell right into it. As soon as they put the heels on me, it was over, you know?
Right. But I think it's actually incredible that you and Joe have had this long-standing working relationship and having a complete trust in each other's ability, and you're able to pull off what needs to be pulled off to tell a story. And I think that's incredible and very rare to have that working relationship for that length of time.
It's so true. Thank you very much. That's really a nice acknowledgement, because most people don't even ever get there and think that, you know, that it is true, and it does take a lot of fortitude. I mean, there were times when he did films that I found out afterwards, and it was like, okay, don't say anything. Just don't say anything. You know, because if I were right for it, he would have put me in, and I just, you know, had to trust that too. That maybe I'm not right for everything, but I can say I've been in 12 of his films, and I don't think there's another woman out there that can say that.
Well, you know what? Actions speak louder than words, so I think it's absolutely incredible that you've had that relationship that long, and it really, really goes to show that, I mean, again, it's complete trust in each other's abilities, talents, and to kind of put this magical thing to life, and it's been a success.
Bring it to life. That's exactly what it is. It's bringing it to life.
And I mean,
that is what we trust about each other. I mean, the parts that I don't get, like, you know, I'll read something and go, what is that? You know, and don't worry about it. I got it. Don't worry about it. He's got it. You know, I don't have to worry. You know, he's definitely got it, you know.
That's true. Very, very true. So
I've been very lucky. I mean, that's just pure, unadulterated good fortune to have been brought into that original audition by Susie Arnold day one.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Did you ever get to meet Robert Blake? It took me a while.
I did Beretta. Yes, I did Beretta with Meg, Meg Foster and Dick. He played my father. Dick. Oh, he was great. He was just great. He played my father. And I was this young, sort of drunk, and Beretta comes to my door, and he kind of had a meltdown the day I worked, the first day I worked, which was a little scary. I mean, I knew nothing about him before this moment. It was 10 years later when everything else happened. But that day on the set, he had quite a lot to say in one of those ghastly monologues, on television where you sum it all up. and he, I guess, was having trouble getting it right. And some TV writers are really it's got to be, as I said, dictators, and others are whatever, that's cool. And he was not hitting the notes that the writer wanted him to hit. And so it ended up having this got down to a meltdown on stage for about 45 minutes where he kind of didn't stop yelling, and when he did, it was, I think we started something 6:30 or 7 in the morning. When he finally stopped, it was about 45 minutes later, and I think it was something like 7:45, and director, everybody dead silence in the entire sound station. The director goes, "Well, that's lunch." And it's like 7:45 in the morning, and everybody bolted for their trailers. I was terrified to ever come out, I was like, oh God, how's this day gonna go? But, actors have meltdown. There's a lot of pressure on you, when you're working every single day and carrying a show. I do understand that. It does happen,
So out of Hunter, Simon and Simon, Beretta, and the A-Team, which would you say was your favorite?
Well, Simon was really fun because Gerald McRaney is a friggin' riot. That guy is so funny. I mean, he's really funny. He should have his own show. He's just funny. And so I enjoyed working with him because every other minute he was saying something that just cracked you up,
Yeah, that's
You can't take the show seriously.
No, that's good. That's good. So, like I said, again, we're very thankful that you were able to take time out of your busy day and join us and sort of give our listeners an insight into somebody that really has an amazing career and that has been fortunate to be able to share their talent with the world with movies such as The Howling, Piranha, and Gremlins, and a whole whack of A-list TV shows. We're very grateful that you were able to share your gift with all of us.
Bless you, darling. That's so sweet. I'd give you a hug if you were closer.
We'll do a cyber hug. Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Is there any other projects?
Thanks for asking me, you guys.
Is there any other projects that you're working on currently that you'd like to promote?
Well, I am, yes. Throughout all this time, I had a friend who was the sound engineer for Crosby, Stills and Nash, and he would go to engineer their concerts, and he goes, "They're doing one in Santa Barbara. Drive up with me. I don't want to drive by myself, right?" So I go with him, and I love to shoot. I have that camera. I was always the one with the brownie wrapped around my neck,
Right.
Okay, you guys don't remember the 50s, but really, they had brownies. And I was one of those kids who always had mine. And so I started shooting a lot of rock and roll, and because it was Crosby, Stills and Nash mainly, a lot of these concerts were cause concerts. And so my friend passed away, and I shot about 30 years with him. And so I've put this book together that I'm dedicating to him, Don Booch, called Rockin' the Causes. And right now I'm looking for a publisher.
Wow. Sorry to hear about your friend.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was 2005. So it was some time ago, but still, sure miss him. Great guy,
Right.
the best. Yeah.
So, do you have any websites or anything you want to promote?
I do have my own BelindaBalaski.com, and I also do watercolor, and I have an artist website that is a little more complicated to say, that it's belinda-balaski.pixels.com, and there you will find my hidden art.
Okay. Do you got any more questions for her?
No, I think like I said, we were very fortunate to have you join us, and we will have our listeners drop into your website as well. You're a multi-talented lady, and the talent just keeps coming and coming. And again, we're just very thrilled that you were able to drop by today and let our listeners and ourselves have an inside view on, your huge talent. We are very grateful, and we thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. Have a really good day, and thanks for asking me.
Hey, you're welcome, and thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.
So, yep, there you go. That was Belinda Balaski.
Very, very thrilled to have actress Belinda Balaski join us on today's podcast, and very grateful. She went into her movies, TV shows, and she is a photographer. She has an artist page as well. She gave you the website, so please take a look at what she has to offer. And again, very talented lady on the show. Very grateful to have her. So stay tuned for our other guests that will be coming.
Yep, tomorrow, Residential Hauntings, Ian Vero. Is that it?
Yeah, take care.